When I first started my YouTube channel, I was still a graduate student in my PhD program. So in any PhD program, you have to write a lot of papers. It doesn't matter if it's for a course paper or a dissertation or publication or things like that. So back then, I shared a lot of videos and tips and tricks when it comes to how to improve academic writing. Writing is a very important skill in our daily lives, communication, and of course in our career. There's so many times I have to write papers, reports at my job, and also, publication, academic stuff. A few months ago, I watched a video from Shelby Church, and it was blowing my mind. I always knew people, they write blogs for money, and a lot of people, they have their own website and they write blogs and they put ads on their blogs or affiliate links, and then they make money through their blogs. So I also started blogging, but then soon I found out it's really hard to blog since there's so many different websites, and it's really hard for my blog to come up in Google search. So I basically dropped that idea of blogging. After watching a video by Shelby Church about writing blogs on Medium.com, and honestly, it's truly blowing my mind. So I started trying my own blogs on Medium.com. It's actually pretty crazy that as a professional academic writer, I actually never make money from writing. When we publish paper through those peer-reviewed journals, our research papers, it's actually a super long process. So from the first draft and then the reviewers comment and major revisions, minor revisions, and all those things, it's like a year-long process, and finally my paper is accepted in the peer-reviewed journal. And if you want your journal to be open access, you have to pay $2,440 to publish my paper. That is crazy. So I chose the option that's not open access. So the readers have to pay to read my article, but I actually make no money. So the publishers, the journals, they actually make money when people subscribe to these journals, usually the libraries, the colleges, and things like that. But as a writer myself, I don't make money through publishing research articles in peer-reviewed journals. You do research and spend months and years to write up your results just for the sake of sharing knowledge, but I don't actually make a profit. But this is absolutely crazy that if I actually write papers or blogs on Medium.com, I can actually make some coins through writing. So in today's video, I want to share some of my experience blogging on Medium.com and to review how much money can you actually make through blogging at Medium.com. So again, I felt like after watching Shelby Church's video, a lot of people had this idea of making thousands of dollars through blogging on Medium.com, but I just want to say it's not the case, but it's probably also worth it to start writing on Medium.com. Absolutely blowing my mind that you can actually make money through writing. So I have no idea what I've been doing this whole time when I was doing my PhD. I wrote so many papers, but of course, it's different types of papers. Alright, so now here we're actually on Medium.com website, and this is their platform. In one of my previous vlogs, I actually touched upon some of the things I've been doing on Medium.com. I was just finalizing some of the papers and blogs, but it's actually a really casual website. It's not like academic journals. And there are actually some really strict rules as well. You have to declare affiliate links. So it's a little bit different from your personal blogs. But here, it's more about knowledge, not so much about the commercial transactions. So do read the guidelines. All right, now we're on our laptop. Let's first log into Medium.com. So this is what the website looks like. So I am known as Dr. Ming. So if you also if you also like to read blogs, make sure you follow me on Medium.com. You can read 5 articles or 5 stories for free each month, but if you want to read more, then you'll have to pay $5 for a month. And honestly, I think $5 is pretty good because it's unlimited access to different genres. So now let's first look at how much I actually make on Medium.com. So here is actually a stats with June. So we're still in June. The June hasn't finished. For half of the month is $18. At the time of editing today's video, it's already July, but I just want to let you know that something crazy happened at the end of the June. So I saw in analytics that I'm making $50 in June. I was like, it's okay. I only wrote one article in the month of June. But what's crazy is that I received a payment of $100 because apparently Medium is paying bonuses to the top like 2,000 tier writers. So I'm very lucky to receive a $50 bonus. So I made a total of $100 in June. Yay! I know it's not a lot of money, but again, I only wrote one article in June and it's something that I love to do, so it doesn't feel like working. I started blogging, I think, the last day in September, so September doesn't count. In October, I made $2. In November, I made $5. December is less than $2. January is $9. February $12. These are like negligible money, like amount of money, like definitely not a lot. But starting in March, one of my story took off and I made $31. And in April, I actually made almost $120. In May, I made $51, and here comes the June. So now let's look how many stories. So here we go. In June, I actually only wrote one story, and this one was like not a long ago. In June, I was slacking a little bit because, you know, it's summer month. I've been going to the gym a lot and I have some trips coming up. So I'm like slacking a little bit. I haven't wrote a lot in June. In May, I actually went above and beyond and wrote 6 articles. Actually, a lot of people, they write daily stories or 3 stories a week. Well, kudos to them, but I have my YouTube channel, I have my regular job, I wanted to go to the gym every day, so I can't really commit everyday writing, but I'm trying my best. April, remember April is actually my highest month of earning on Medium.com. I finally broke $100. But here, I only wrote 2 stories in April. And I made a lot of money in April, not because of the stories I wrote in April, but because of the stories I wrote in March. So in March, I actually had one story took off, which is it too late to start a YouTube channel in 2021? And this one has more than 1,000 views or 1,000 reads. I also have 2 articles that are curated. One is how I cope with anti-Asian hate, and also 4 investment concepts I wish I knew earlier. In September, I actually wrote 1, and in October is like 3 stories. November is 3 stories. December is 1 story because I was doing Vlogmas on my YouTube channel, so I don't have time to write a lot of stories. I actually don't make a lot of money blogging on Medium.com. It's not as high as like Church or a lot of like bloggers that are like full-time, because first of all, I don't have a lot of stories. Second, I don't have enough already online following. Shockingly, like you may think that, oh, you're just a newbie blogger on Medium.com, you don't make a lot of money. Maybe most bloggers make a lot, but actually I think a very, very small percentage of bloggers on Medium.com make more than $100. Less than 10% of bloggers on this site make more than $100 a month. So $100 a month is like a milestone. It's actually a lot of money for a blogger on Medium.com. But again, I'm not very consistent, and sometimes like which story will take off is very unpredictable. So if you just started blogging on Medium.com and you're not making like thousands of dollars like some of the other people shared on YouTube, don't feel frustrated or defeated, because this is absolutely normal. Most people don't make a lot of money because like we love writing, and why don't you just blog? Well, do something you love while making some side hustle money. Now, after revealing how much money I actually make through blogging on Medium as like a side hustle blogger, like a casual blogger, now here's some of the tips and experience I learned through my own blogging experience, like some highs and lows, and hopefully will help you out if you decided to try out writing on this website and hopefully making some bucks while doing something you love. First thing is quality over quantity. And this one, I think online there are like different perspectives, and there are people actually doing YouTube videos sharing their experience blogging every single day. So first of all, I want to say if you write more, there's a chance that you actually improve, and there is a chance that one of your stories will take off. But based on my own experience, if you see my stats, there is one particular story that's published in A Making of a Millionaire, and this one is It Too Late to Start a YouTube Channel in 2021. When I first wrote the story, I never thought the story would take off. It's just something I wanted to share. I've been doing my YouTube channel for 2 years, and I've been having some highs and lows, and I definitely have this question when I first started. I just wanted to share my experience. So I wrote this particular story and I published in the Making of Millionaire. And this one story made me $138. I think this is very similar to Shelby Church's story that's very successful on Medium.com, which is how much does YouTube pay her for 1 million views. I think those are the things like we share our own experience, and it also offers a value, and people are genuinely curious about those things, right? So this just shows that the majority of my income on this website are actually made from this one particular story. Okay, so now let's look at this one, How to Produce Good Writing. This one is actually published in one of the biggest publication on Medium.com, but it didn't generate as many views as I would think, and it only made me $3. But again, $3 is not bad, and this story is actually distributed or curated. We're going to talk about later. Very unsuccessful story. This is very crazy. This particular story only have 42 views and not a lot of reach. This story is actually very useful. Best tips about how to be successful in an interview, but for some reason, I think it's because I published in the wrong publication, like the viewers from that publication didn't care about this, and there are only 16 minutes of total reading time, which is crazy, and I made how much? 46 cents. It really speaks a lot about producing more doesn't really generate more income or bigger income. It really comes down to quality over quantity. But quality, I don't mean like your writing is not good, but I just mean that like you have to produce something that people actually want to read in the correct publication to the correct viewers that's like, oh my gosh, this is going to help me, and bam, there we go. Don't force yourself to publish every single day, but maybe write every single day, but instead of like publishing a short story that's not very good quality, maybe produce one good story over a period of 3-4 days, and maybe it will be successful. And tip that I learned was that how big of publication doesn't really matter. It really matters if you're publishing in the correct publication where the viewers are going to, or the readers are going to love the topic that you're writing about. For example, this particular story got an interview. Here is how to prepare. I published in the publication of Illumination. So this is actually a pretty big publication with over, I believe, 60,000 followers to this publication. Example of a variety publication. It publishes business, economy, poetry, fiction, philosophy, self-improvement, science and technology, love and relationships, spirit and religion, politics and society. So this is a variety publication. So people follow these publications for different reasons. So even though my story fits into the publication, but because the followers who follow here, they mainly look at like self-improvement, so people don't actually click in and read it. So you could have a really good story published in a really big publication, but just because of the readers in that particular publication doesn't like to read something like this, or they're not interested in this topic, you may actually not get any views, which is really, really sad because I personally believe this is a practical story, really practical guide, an instrumental story that helps people to prepare for interviews, but for some reason people actually didn't read this. You have to find the right audience to really talk about your topic. It's just similar to like you don't want to talk to a vegetarian, talk to them about how to cook steak. Again, you could have the best steak recipe, but if you're just trying to talk to vegan or vegetarians, they're not going to be interested. That's just my second tip, is just because a publication is big or like it's a high quality publication doesn't mean that your story will do well. It really has to be a really good match to the audience or readers from that publication. The third thing, publish through publication is the best option. So when I first started writing, I first just start publishing by myself. I used to be a very impatient person. I'm still like working on that. So every time I spend days of like composing one story, the first thing I wanted to do is to just have it published. But then I realized that the chance of getting curated or distributed if you self-publish is very low. I feel like the curators, they don't really look at self-published stories unless you're like a really big writer on medium.com. So unless you have a big enough following, always publish through publications. So this is what I do. Basically, if I want to write a new story, like you can literally write anything here, and here I have to start writing blah blah blah, and then I blah blah blah. So there's like dot dot dot, and then you basically put add to publications, and these are a series of publications I write. Age of Awareness, Ascent, Better Advice, Data-Driven Investor, Elimination, Fitness and Health, Making of Millionaire, Postgrad Survival Guide, Writing Cooperative. So you choose one, select and continue. So you choose the publication first, and then you hit the publish button. So that's basically what I meant by publish through publication. So you can still add to publications even after you already published the stories. But there are some publications, they only accept unpublished stories. And that is a tricky part. So always add to publications, publish through them. And some publications, it takes them 2 weeks to review a story. So be patient. It's worth the wait. So always add to publication first and then publish. The next thing is about publications. When I first started blogging on medium.com, I watched Shelby Church's video. She said always publish in publications because they're going to do the promotion of your story. But I didn't know about a lot of publications. So first start reading about different stories that you want to write about, and try to find publications that has really high quality stories in the same topic or genre. So in my case, these are a list of publications that I do. So you can also try to publish right here. Some of these are really big publications. Some of these are pretty small. So like this one, the Writing Cooperative, this one is 225K followers. This is a big publication. So what you do is that you go into a publication and you go to a tab. It's in different places in different publications, and you do Write for Us. And then there's a submission requirement and style guideline. Oh my gosh, when I first write for this publication, I didn't understand some of the points, but the editors, they're really, really patient with me. They told me, hey, you violated guideline 2, 3, 4, and then please revise your format and resubmit. So even though it was rejected, they were really specific about like certain guidelines or formatting violations, so I can modify, edit, and then resubmit. It's very professional. Basically, every single particular publication have like a submission guideline you have to read through, and each publication, they have their own specific formats, and some of them are more liberal than the others. So here we go. Just make sure the topics is something they're interested, it fits into their genre and topics, and make sure like you read the guidelines and you format your stories based on the guidelines. And finally, if you scroll all the way down, request to contribute. So this is where you find a way to contribute. A lot of places have Google Form, and some publications you kind of have to comment or reply. So you could reply in the comments and talk about, hey, I want to become become a writer. This is what I write about. Can you add me as a contributor to this publication? And it takes a few days for the editor to get to your request. So different publications, they do it differently. So make sure that you figure that out. And before you do all that, of course, there's another thing. It's basically to join their partner program. You don't have to be a member to join their partner program. You don't have to have any writing to join. It's really easy. You just need to put your tax information and you are gonna have a Stripe account, and then there we go, you become a partner and you can start writing and make money through writing. The next tip or something that I learned, interesting that I learned, is about curation. When I first watched some of the people who write on medium.com, they all talked about curations, like curation jails. It feels like something so mystic. And when I first started publishing and writing stories, I didn't know that if you publish through publication before you self-publish, you have a higher chance of getting curated. And I didn't know, so I was never curated. So I believed I was in a curation jail. But I believe there is no such a thing as a curation jail. It's just there's a higher chance of being curated if you publish through a big publication, because curators, they know that if a publication that's very prestigious, they publish your story, it's worth reading. So they're gonna read your story, and these are actually people who read your story and decide if they want to curate it. What a curation is that these curators, they will read a story, and if they deem the story as good quality, they will further put it into further distribution. They will send people through email or notifications, or distribute to your stories to people who haven't followed you yet, which is very important for new writers. When I first started, I read about curations, I watched videos about curations, and I feel like people are fantasizing about how important curation is, which I believe curation definitely helps. It's definitely important, and it feels great when they're actually curators think that your story is very high quality. However, if you look at my stats, if you look at my highest earning article or story on medium.com, it's not curated. It's not. Isn't it amazing? Your story doesn't have to be curated to make a lot of money, and curation is helpful, but it's not everything. So another story that's actually curated did not make as much as money. So this one is published in Data Driven Investor. This is 4 investment concepts that I wish I knew earlier. And this story made me $15, $16, which is a lot, I think, because not a lot of my YouTube videos make me $15. So just letting you know, this is actually a lot, because a lot of my YouTube videos make me like $3, $10. If you see right here, it was distributed by curators on March 31st, and look, it just means a lot to me when I knew that my story was distributed. But there we go. It's still helpful. It still helps my story to make more money, but it's not making as much as money as the story that was not curated. So this just proves that, like, it's unpredictable. Just because a story is curated doesn't mean that it's gonna make you a lot of money and get a lot of views. The story that made me a lot of money was published in a smaller publication that only has 20,000 followers versus another story, How to Produce Good Writing. This one is a high quality story, I want to say. And it was curated, it was distributed by curators, and it made me $3, and it's published in Writing Cooperative, which is like 200,000 followers. So again, big publication helps, getting curated helps, but it really comes down to if viewers find your title interesting, if viewers, they find your story of great value, if you publish in a journal that's actually, or publish in a publication that people actually interested with the correct audience. So that is something to think about with medium.com. Overall, pretty good passive income. Usually when it comes to freelancing jobs or those creative jobs like YouTube or writing on medium.com, usually 80% of the outcome comes from 20% 20% of the effort. But the problem is you can't really predict which 20% of the effort can produce 80% of the outcome. So you just have to keep trying. If you are interested in reading blogs or blogging, definitely follow me on medium.com. You don't need to be a paid member to follow me. This is my page. There you go. I have 300 followers, still pretty small because I just publish casually. Like, I know some people are really serious about writing it, but I also have other side hustles and a life. So there we go. If you're interested in reading about productivity, career, self-development, money, investment, personal finance concepts, definitely check this out. I wrote a variety of things, but mainly for self-development reasons, like different types of self-development, gratitude, fitness and health, and also financial health as well. So if you're interested in this topic, definitely follow me on medium.com. Alrighty, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you love writing, definitely try it out. Let me know if you like writing. Let me know if you want to try this. Let me know what you write about or what you want to write about on medium.com. And also, if you want me to give you a follow, definitely comment down below. I love reading your medium.com account name. I can definitely find you and follow you. I really see it as making more writer friends. So feel free to comment down below what your writer's username on medium.com, and I will give you a follow and read your articles as well. I feel like follow for follow doesn't really work, but at the beginning, because I felt like I'm doing it alone, but later we actually started to make friends. I joined several Facebook writing groups or Facebook Medium groups, and I actually was able to connect with some of the writers there. If you truly feel strongly about the topics that I write, definitely drop your handle as well. And I feel like it's one thing people follow for follow, but they don't actually read the work, versus there are also other people who are truly interested in finding more writer friends or people who are in the same interest and read each other's perspectives. So definitely check out and leave your handle. So sure. Alrighty, that's it for today's video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. A small kindness can make a big difference in the life. And also consider subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my other videos. I have a variety of different videos in my channel. And also follow me on Medium, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Happy writing!